The wilderness has always whispered to me in ways that people never could. I suppose that's why I've filled countless journals with verses instead of memories of lovers. My name is Elara Nightshade, and I have spent 23 years in this small town where everyone knows everyone. Yet somehow, I remain unknown. My balcony faces the untamed forest that encroaches upon our town like a patient predator. From here, I can see the boundary where civilization surrenders to wilderness, a metaphor I've explored in my poetry more times than I care to admit. The wooden railing bears the indentations of my elbows, worn smooth from years of leaning out toward the unknown, pen in hand. Journal open to receive whatever fragments of my soul decide to escape that day. Mother says I was born with ink in my veins instead of blood. Father simply sighs and wonders aloud when I'll join the real world. They love me, I know, but they don't understand why their only daughter prefers the company of metaphors to men, or why I find more truth in a perfectly crafted stanza than in the gossip at the town's only cafe. Elara, dinner's ready, Mother calls from below, her voice cutting through my reverie like scissors through silk. I close my journal, trapping within its pages the half-formed poem about autumn leaves and unrequited desire. Another day, another verse, about longing for something I cannot name. Our dining room is warm and familiar, the same oak table that has hosted our family meals for decades, the same floral curtains that have witnessed countless conversations. Mother serves roasted chicken with vegetables from our garden, and Father pours water from a pitcher that belonged to his grandmother. Any new poems today? Mother asks, her way of trying to connect with my world. A few lines, I reply, pushing a carrot around my plate. Nothing finished. Father clears his throat. Mrs. Holloway mentioned her nephew is visiting next month. He's studying literature at the university. I suppress a sigh. This is their subtle way of matchmaking, finding men who might share my interests. As if compatibility could be reduced to a single common hobby. That's nice, I say non-committally, knowing they mean well. After dinner, I help with the dishes, then retreat to my room. The walls are lined with bookshelves, poetry collections, novels and journals, filled with my own words. My bed sits beneath the window that faces the forest, allowing moonlight to spill across my quilt on clear nights. I change into my nightgown and sit at my small desk, opening my journal once more. The poem from earlier calls to me, demanding completion. Autumn leaves fall like forgotten promises, crimson and gold memories drifting down, each one a love that never was, each one a kiss I'll never know. The forest collects them without judgment, while I collect only words, fragile substitutes for the warmth of another soul against mine in the gathering cold. I read it aloud to myself, tasting the words, not my best work, but honest. Too honest, perhaps. I close the journal and place it on my nightstand before turning out the light. Sleep comes as it always does, reluctantly, like a shy guest who isn't sure they've been properly invited. Morning arrives with pale light filtering through my curtains. Another day in our small town where nothing ever changes. I dress in my favorite blue dress, the one with pockets deep enough to hold a small notebook and pen. Breakfast is quiet, Father reading the local newspaper, Mother making lists for her garden. I'll be on the balcony, I announce after helping clear the table. Mother nods, understanding this is my sacred time. Don't forget your sweater. There's a chill in the air today. The balcony welcomes me like an old friend. I settle into my chair, a cup of tea steaming beside me on the small table. Below, the town is beginning to stir. Mrs. Chen opening her bakery, Mr. Abernathy walking his ancient retriever, the mail carrier making his rounds on a bicycle that's probably as old as I am. Beyond them lies the wilderness, acres of trees stretching toward the distant mountains. Something about the forest seems different today, though I can't quite place what has changed. The colors seem more vibrant, the shadows deeper, the rustling of leaves more deliberate, as if the forest is trying to communicate. I open my journal to a fresh page and write. There is a language in the wilderness that speaks in rustling leaves and creaking boughs, in shadows that shift when no wind blows, in spaces between the trees that seem to watch with eyes I cannot see but somehow feel. What ancient words are whispered there? What secrets hide beneath the forest floor? And why, today, do I feel it calling not to the poet in me, but to the woman A sudden breeze lifts the page, nearly turning it before I can catch it. Strange, the air had been still just moments before. I look up, scanning the tree line, for a heartbeat. I think I see movement, not the natural swaying of branches, but something more purposeful. Then it's gone, and I'm left wondering if my imagination has finally begun to bleed into my reality. I spend the morning writing, filling pages with half-formed thoughts and images. By noon, the strange feeling has faded, replaced by the familiar frustration of trying to capture ephemeral emotions with concrete words. The days in our town follow a predictable rhythm. Mondays, I help mother with laundry. Tuesdays, I walk to the small library and exchange last week's books for new ones. Wednesdays, I visit the cafe and listen to the town's gossip while pretending to read. Thursdays, I help father with accounting for his small hardware store. Fridays, I clean my room and organize my journals. Weekends are for longer writing sessions and occasional visits from my only real friend, Lydia, who teaches at the elementary school and brings me stories of the outside world. But beneath this routine, I feel a constant yearning, hunger for something more, something real. I've written countless poems about love, yet never experienced it beyond the crush I had on Thomas Parker when I was 16, before he moved away to the city. I've described passion in verse, but never felt it flush my skin. I've captured loneliness perfectly on the page, but have never found its cure. Perhaps that's why I write, to create the experiences I've never had, to live vicariously through my own imagination. Or perhaps I write because the words build up inside me like water behind a dam, and without release, I fear I might drown in all the things I've never said aloud. Tonight, as I stand on the balcony watching the sunset behind the trees, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, I whisper to the encroaching darkness, is there anyone out there who could love a girl made of words and wishes? The wind picks up suddenly, swirling around me like an embrace, carrying with it the scent of wild roses, which is impossible, as they don't bloom this time of year. My skin prickles with goosebumps that have nothing to do with the temperature. For the first time in my life, I have the unsettling feeling that someone or something has heard me, and worse, that it might answer.